Raising teenagers is hard. Understatement of the century. This is Mentor Select. Mentor Select. Parenting teens to be successful adults. Mentor Select serves parents who are raising teens. Every week, Derek interviews leading experts that work with teens, educators, counselors, mentors, and authors to give you practical tips, strategies, and resources that you can incorporate immediately to better connect and understand your teen. All while parenting them to be successful adults, focusing on social and emotional development, something that's left out of the classroom, but not in ours. Be sure to subscribe, share, and rate. This is Mentor Select, and this is your host, Derek Phillips.
So parents, today you're in for a real treat. We have JeJuan Stewart, the CEO of Eagle 7 Consulting with us today. How are you, JeJuan?
Hi, I am doing well, Derek. Thank you.
I'm glad you're able to join us today. Where are you joining us from?
I am from Atlanta, Georgia, specifically in the Stone Mountain area.
Okay, awesome. Atlanta's beautiful. And here in Dallas today, we have beautiful weather. Spring's kicking in. I think we're up in the 70s. How about there?
Oh my goodness, it's not quite that here. We've had quite a bit of rain.
Okay.
It's been raining off and on, and the weather's been, I guess, in the 50s and 60s, which is, it's not too bad, but it could be better.
It could be better, it could be worse. Indeed. So, JeJuan, can you tell us what is Eagle 7 Consulting?
Absolutely. Actually, Eagle 7 is a acronym for Empowering All to Give, Lead, and Excel. And the focus is on embracing the power of one by connecting the dots in communities one individual at a time. And what I do through that, connecting the dots, is provide innovative strategies for really working with communities.
Okay.
And in our area, my focus for this season has been on parent engagement, because that's just where I have found a void and a need. And so I work with building up parents, working with programming to enhance parent engagement, to really specifically target parents that would like resources and support in their journey, and really providing them with tools to help them help their children succeed.
All right. Yeah, I like it. Taking that holistic approach.
Absolutely. I consider it from the standpoint of, if you are able to inspire parents, you will then impact your students. And if you impact the students, you will influence the communities that you live in.
Totally agree. Now, do you all also offer programs and services for youth?
Absolutely. Parents become, in my format and the way that we work things through consulting, is they're the parents that become members with Eagle 7 through our Eagle 7 Parent Advantage Club. They get access to opportunities for their students to grow, to learn as they themselves grow and learn.
I love that, because a lot of times with the parents and teens that I work with, maybe parents don't necessarily feel the need as much to learn and grow. They feel like it's just for their teens to learn and grow. Certainly, going back to that holistic approach, they're learning and growing together, and that better helps them connect, and just overall better experience for the entire family.
Absolutely. I generated a lot of what I do from my experience as a facilitator for the NAACP Youth Council in my community over, I started that with my husband in 2004. And during that season, when I was a facilitator and youth council leader, I did a lot of engagement with parents and students, primarily students. I learned a lot of engaging with parents and speaking into them and encouraging them with their children from that vantage point during that season. So yes, it really is important.
Now, the programming, the NAACP program that you just mentioned, is that nationwide? Is that still ongoing?
Oh, yes. The NAACP has youth councils in almost every branch.
Okay.
They have a youth council. And so being engaged in that is one of the ways that I really encourage parents to become more connected to their community, but also helping their children to become connected. In our case, we focused a lot on volunteering, community service, and things like that, which allowed opportunities for parents and students to volunteer together.
Awesome. So how important is it for teens to be connected to their community? What benefit does that give them?
Well, you know what? Nowadays, it really gives them a head up in regards to colleges and career. It helps them from the vantage point of getting exposure to potential opportunities like careers that they're interested in or might be interested in. They're able to delve a little bit deeper in addition to finding resources and building relationships outside of the school setting and outside of their home. It helps them to really build their soft skills when it comes to learning how to communicate effectively with intergenerational communications and things like that. I focus on service learning, which is something that is relatively, it's not a new concept, but it's becoming more utilized and you hear more about it nowadays. Within the school setting, it's different from project-based learning, but service learning is really focused on not just doing a service project or having a capacity to do a community service project. However, it's focused on you're learning about the issues in your community and you're creating a solution for those issues in your own unique way. And so I focus on helping parents navigate projects like that for their children, helping them to figure out what it is their children's strengths are, what they want to do, and going all the way up through and including college and career. So helping them to navigate what that looks like. And the earlier you can start with that, the less likely they're going to find themselves wasting money and time in college or whatever career they choose to go into.
Yeah, I love that. And also, I think it helps prevent them from getting into a lot of trouble as far as wasting time with gangs or any other negative activities and doing something positive, serving within their community.
It does. And it really opens their eyes to how they have a voice.
Right.
A lot of students don't feel like anyone's listening to them. And so, really creating a pathway for them, starting with their parents, to be able to engage in the community effectively and making an impact and a difference is huge.
Absolutely. And you brought up something really important as far as letting teens know that they do have a voice. That's something that I hear pretty often from them, that they feel like no one's listening. Their parents not listening. Their parents are just telling them what to do. And they're not robots. They want to feel empowered and know they have a voice. And oftentimes, once parents do empower their teens and expose them to pathways to express themselves, they're surprised what they come up with once they have opportunity. It's just the sky's the limit at that point.
Absolutely. That's such a key component. I remember taking a group of parents and students to the National Youth Leadership Conference not too many years ago. And it was just really remarkable because a number of the parents didn't realize the talents and abilities that their students had until they went there, doing presentations, sharing information, engaging, and it opened their eyes. It was just, it's incredible to put them in that environment and really exposing them to something outside of school and outside of their communities where they're making an impact and making it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Now, what are some ways that parents can really expose their kids to just activities outside of the classroom and really put them in a situation where they can excel and parents can identify those talents and skills?
Well, for me, I'm a mother of 4. And when my children were younger, I have 2 boys and 2 girls, all kind of stair-step. My husband and I both work. So it was really hard to make arrangements to get them to something, or by the time I heard about something, it was like too late to register them. It was too, just not so many. You didn't have cell phones like we have now, and things like that. There were so many limitations then.
I remember those days.
Exactly. I'm giving my age away, right? And that's something that really spearheaded me to look at ways to bring things to my community. I would just start looking for different programs that were going on elsewhere, and then I would research them, write them, ask them if there's any way that we could offer this program in our community, speak to the lead person that was over it, and then see what they would say. And in some cases, they might say, we never considered your community. You aren't even on our radar. So we'll take a look at it. Or they might say, well, your community doesn't have the demographics that we're reaching out to. And then I would challenge them. And I would say, well, give us a chance. Let us do one. Let us pilot. And we could do a pilot with a school. Maybe we could partner with a PTA or something like that. And in most cases, they would say yes. And we would try. And so I think as a parent, we have a lot more clout than you think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And learning how to utilize that within your community is key. You have to become engaged with the school, but you also need to become engaged with your community and find out what's lacking or the things you'd like to see there. One instance for me is that there was a program called Seismic Camp at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And my children went to had the opportunity to go to that camp. My husband and I, we rearranged our schedules. We made sure that we could drop them off and pick them up. And in my case, what I did is I offered to volunteer for the camp. I said, mind you, 4 children. Right. I couldn't afford all 4 of them.
Get expensive, adds up.
Absolutely. So what I would say is I said, do you need a volunteer? And in most cases, they would just be, yes, we need volunteers. And so that would enable me to maybe have 2, pay for 2, and then the other 2 go for free. Okay. You know what I mean? We do a barter. And so you really have to kind of become creative as a parent and how you engage. And if you supply a need that they have, maybe you have a expertise in website development, or you could do a blog post for them, or you could do some kind of marketing or something like that they have a need in. Right. And you can offer your services for your child to be able to attend. So there are just different things that you can look at to try to do to be able to open those doors. And not just for your child, but it opens doors for other children. Yeah. So win-win, certainly. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact you said, you challenged them. You didn't just accept no for an answer. You got creative. Mm-hmm. It's like you have a track record of challenging and identifying voids and finding a solution for those voids. Going back to you found in Eagle 7. Mm-hmm. It's really cool and good insight and tips for parents. No problem. Now, in addition to the services you're offered through Eagle 7, do you offer other services for parents and students? Or are you working on adding additional services or products? Absolutely, yes. Currently, I am in the process of writing a book. The title of my book is called Empowered to Parent. Okay. That should be coming out I say by the end of the second quarter, no later than early summer or something like that. All right, exciting. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about the opportunity to share. And it will be a combination of just sharing some insights and tips to hopefully inspire and encourage parents, because I feel like parents have been really marginalized and talked down to, as opposed to supported and encouraged. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, you're definitely excited about your book and looking forward to checking it out when you release it. Thank you. Why do you think that is? You said that parents have been marginalized and talked down to. What do you think are some contributing factors to that? I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, especially as a minority parent, working within the school systems. Sometimes I think there's just a lack of cultural sensitivity and understanding. Sometimes we have to give parents a chance. Not everybody is going to fit a certain norm or a certain profile. So you have to really meet people where they are, and learning how to engage with them and bringing support to them as opposed to dictating to them what to do. Okay. I just feel like there's a difference in that approach. And if we come alongside someone, it's like that old adage, people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, so true. Totally agree. With you as a parent and also working with teens and parents, what are some common issues teens are dealing with that you encounter, whether it's at school or in just social life?
I find that from some of the parents that I have spoken to, that it's in regards to just learning how to build a viable, healthy relationship with your teen.
Okay.
Because you're going through these changes, not to mention hormonal changes. There's a lot happening in the seasons that you're in, and learning how to really understand who your child is and really appreciating their strengths. Not because I've been guilty of this as a parent, putting more emphasis on trying to correct everything and getting them perfect and right. We can't do that. We can't even do that with ourselves.
That's true.
If we can just be honest with ourselves and say, you know what, let me just approach it from the standpoint, I want to become a student of my child. I want to be a student of my child. Then that means I need to learn what they like. I need to learn about the things that they like to do. I need to look for opportunities to build my relationship with them. And one of the tools that I have used for myself personally is the 5 love languages. I use that tool. My husband and I had used that for years with our children to kind of evaluate, what their love language was, because we assumed that it was we thought it was,
Yeah.
And in most cases it wasn't. It was different. And so learning how, and then figuring out what ours was.
Right.
Because a lot of times we speak to our children based on our love language. Once we open that door and dialogue from that angle, that helps a lot. I think with that issue of building relationships, because it starts there, I believe.
Yeah, that's so true. And I like that you mentioned, so with the love languages, and then also you said just being honest with ourselves as parents. Hey, we don't want to focus on our own weaknesses and want to make ourselves perfect, because I know I have a lot of weaknesses, but I'm much happier when I focus on my strengths. Yeah, so that is very important. Yeah, honest parents being honest with themselves. And I'm big on not having a double standard. So yeah, if I don't want to treat myself a certain way, then I certainly shouldn't treat my children that way.
Exactly. And I think it comes from a genuine place in most cases. And you want to provide access to things and opportunities for them. But a lot of times I hear this all the time from parents that, I try to tell them this, they're not listening. They won't listen. They won't listen to what I say. They're not taking anything in that I'm telling them. But to your surprise, and maybe even to your dismay, they are listening. They're just not letting you know that they're listening. They're not going to give you an inkling about that until much later.
Right.
If you're fortunate, they might let you know. But the thing is that they are listening. They are taking it in. And they're grateful that you are there and that you stay engaged. I think one thing that happens as our children get older, we become less and less engaged.
Right.
Because we feel like they are becoming young adults and they don't need us and they need to make their own decisions. I think that can be a stumbling block, I should say. It can be a stumbling block for a couple of reasons, because even scientifically it's been proven that children don't mature until they're like in their late 20s.
Right.
To late 20s. The brain doesn't fully develop. The rationalization and how they rationalize is not going to be there.
Right.
So if we start thinking about those things in that perspective, then it's really important for us to stay engaged. Now, what that looks like is different from when they were 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
The engagement process is a little different. And I think as a parent, that might be where we find it difficult, because they are becoming more vocal and more assertive in their views and perspectives and things. But I'm, in my journey, I rely a lot on my faith and prayer. So I've learned how to value, there's some things that I don't fight about. I didn't argue about everything. Everything was a debate. And there were some things that were not negotiable.
Right.
We're not debating this. This is
draw
not
those lines, those boundaries.
Exactly. You draw your lines. You have your values. You state your, this is how we are as a family. This is how we do it in this household. I know your friends may do something different, but that's up to them and their parents to work that out. And so learning how to say that and state that and stand by that is critical. And that's one of the reasons why I started my parent pop-ups called Pep Talks, because I feel like each parent needs a cheerleader and they need their own cheerleaders in their corner saying, you're doing it right. It's good. Hang in there. Or this is what I've done and this is how it worked out. I think you should maybe try this.
Right.
Everybody needs that, I think.
Yes, indeed. You said called Pep Talks. Can you tell us more about them? Yeah,
sure. Pep Talks are parent engagement pop-ups. It's an interactive gathering just for parents, and where we come together, we talk about a topic. With the Pep Talks, it's developing even as I speak, because we are looking at doing Pep Talks are no more than maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours at the most. So it's not all day. And it's really something just really like to get you started with a dialogue, thinking about things, bringing them together in a small group setting with like-minded parents. They can sit down and kind of navigate and talk about these things so they know what to say. They know how to address it and get the support that they need to be able to be more effective. So it's called Pep Talk, and it's a parent engagement pop-up.
Wow, sounds really cool. Wish I was in the Atlanta area. I would certainly attend.
You would come?
Yeah, I definitely would. Yes,
indeed. That's nice. We would love to have you sometime. If you ever happen to be in the area, it'd be fun to have you come.
Certainly. Love that. And it's just so important. Like you mentioned, parents need a cheerleader as well, because parenting can be draining or challenging, especially with teenagers, like I said, with all the changes that are going on. But to have that cheerleader, to have that resource, that advocate, and being able to just unite with other parents and bounce ideas off each other, it's very valuable, certainly relevant to this audience.
Oh, good. I'm glad you think so. I feel like parenting is a journey. You know, it's not a destination. Once a parent, you're always a parent. You don't get to change hats and stop. And I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, I mean, some people do, but in most cases, we tend to be there for the long haul.
Right.
And so I just think it's really, really important to embrace the fact that you're going to go through seasons. It's not going to all be the same, and you can weather the storms with support.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Yeah, like if you look at it that way, seasons, like say, the storms are going to come, just like the sun's going to come back. Summer's coming back, spring comes back. The winter can be tough, but it's just a season. It's temporary. And if you have those resources, a support system, you can weather those storms, as you said.
Exactly.
Great way to look at it. Indeed. Well, JeJuan, you've given us a lot of great insight, strategies, and tips to really prepare teens to be successful adults and really help parents to better connect with their teens. As we get ready to wrap up this interview, is there any parting words of advice you want to give to parents?
I think the main thing I would like to share with parents is to stay in the fight. It's worth it. Don't lose sight of your focus, and you bring the best that you can to the table. They're looking at you as an example and as a forerunner of what they will be like as a parent eventually. Right. So if you show them that, you know what, I don't always have it all together, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to try. I'm willing to make adjustments and changes as necessary. I'm growing just like you are. That gives them hope. Create that community. If you don't have a community, create one for yourself. You can also join our community. We do have on Facebook, I have a community called E7 Parent Advantage Hub. And you're welcome. Connect with us there because you'll find resources and support. I'm looking forward to being able to do some Facebook Lives there as well.
Awesome.
Coming up. And I would love to have you, Derek, come and speak as well.
I'll be honored.
And so I just feel like the more that we can provide access to these resources and support, the better our parents will be.
Yeah, that's great advice. And it's all about community, and we're so connected with technology. Like I said, it's easy to identify your community, identify your tribe and support system, whether it's Facebook groups or LinkedIn, or there's just so many options. It takes going back to what you said about being creative and just proactive. Indeed.
Exactly.
I love it. And especially you're saying stay in the fight. I love that. Me being a military man, certainly our mindset. Stay in the fight to win. Can't give up or throw in the white towel at the first sign of trouble.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. My dad was in the military, and
awesome.
So he was in the Marine Corps for over 20 years. And,
wow.
And so I know, the challenges and things like that. He served in Vietnam.
Where you get your fight from, your persistence.
Exactly. Between he and my mom, they're amazing parents. Not perfect by any means, but they were the best parents for me. And so I think realizing that you don't have to be perfect.
Yep.
That you just need to be committed. And you need to be a parent that is striving for excellence. It just means that I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to do the best that I possibly can with the resources that I have for my family, for my child.
Love it. It definitely sets that example. Like you said, teens are listening and they're watching. So got to set that example, be transparent, and the military term, lead from the front.
All right.
Indeed.
What do they say? What they call it now? The tip of the spear.
Right, tip of the spear. Definitely. That's certainly a analogy, a metaphor for parenting. Tip of the spear. Love it.
Exactly.
Well, JeJuan, how can parents get in contact with you? I know you mentioned your Facebook group. What are some other options to get in contact with you?
I do have for Eagle 7, there is a website. It's www.eagle7consulting.com, and the 7 is the number 7. Okay. And then I do also have a personal landing page if they want to reach out to me specifically. And that landing page is www.JeJuan.co. JeJuan is JeJuan.co. And so you can be able to reach out to me directly there as well. Last but not least, if you just want to send me an email and let me know that anything I said was encouraging to you or whatever, you can send an email to JeJuan@JeJuan.co.
Fantastic. Highly encourage parents to reach out to you.
I appreciate it.
Phenomenal resource, and clearly very passionate about this topic, about serving parents and youth. Definitely want to add JeJuan Stewart to your community, parents, certainly. And before I let you go, definitely we'll be looking forward to your Empower the Parent book.
Thank you.
No turning back now. You certainly have to publish it.
You know it. It's out there now.
Definitely. Well, wish the best to you and really appreciate all of the insight and advice and tips you've given us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of your broadcast. And I love what you're doing. I think it's so important for our community to have this type of platform to be able to share and engage. So Godspeed to you and your family. And I just wish the best for you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Mentor Select. Parenting teens to be successful adults. Hosted by Derrich Phillips. Raising teenagers is hard. Understatement of the century. We get it. That's why Derrich interviews leading experts that work with teens, educators, counselors, mentors, and authors to give you practical tips, strategies, and resources that you can incorporate immediately to better connect and understand your teen. That's why we do the show. Be sure to share Mentor Select with other parents of teens. Follow us on social media at Mentor Select to stay up to date on the latest tips, strategies, and resources for parenting teens. Send your questions and comments to Derrich@mentorselect.com. Tune in every Wednesday for new episodes. Till next time, this is Mentor Select.